Yo, what is up, my beautiful people? Welcome to another quick and easy tutorial with yours truly. Now, based off the title of the video, you guys already know what is going on. Today we are doing a step-by-step guide on how to use Premiere Pro. So we are going to do a pretty easy follow along guide where I'll be showing you guys the basics of Premiere Pro, how to edit, how to put together a quick video for yourself, for your channel, for a client, or maybe for a friend. So let's get right to it. Okay, so from the bat, you want to create a new project, you want to name your project, and then over here where it says project location, you want to choose a folder for your project. That way it's easier to find, and then you want to just hit create. So off the bat, you will notice that I am using Premiere Pro 2024, but it's not a train smash. You can still follow along despite whatever version of Premiere Pro that you are using. So I have it. So basically what you want to do is, because for the sake of this video, we want to have it on learning, right? Because there's not a lot of the other stuff that we don't need, so I do not need to show you. I just need to show you literally this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the only layouts that we are going to be using for this tutorial, right? So first thing that you want to know, so obviously this is the layout of Premiere Pro, as you can see. So a couple of few things that you want to know. This right here, this is where, in this box right here where it says import media to start, this is where you're going to import all of your media. So all of your footage that you are going to be using to edit your video, you are going to import them here, right? You can do this by either dragging and dropping or literally importing that. I will show you right now. And this folder right here, this is where you are going to see. So I normally use this right here to preview the footage and to do other things, right? But in the case of this tutorial, we are just going to use it to preview your footage. And this one right here is where you are actually going to be seeing and watching your edit. So whatever you are doing, it will show up here. And then this one right here is where you are going to drag and drop your media. This is going to be your editing box right here. And then this right here is where you have all of your tools that you're going to use. But in the case of this tutorial, we are only going to, I want you guys to familiarize yourself with only two tools: the selection tool, which is this arrow right here, and the razor blade tool, right? Which this, as you can see by the what you call, should I say the emo of it, the emoji, it is a razor tool which is used to cut. For now, we will ignore the rest of the other stuff, because really these are the only two tools that you need to know as a beginner. Matter of fact, these are the only two tools that you will be using 89% of the time whenever you edit. So all right, now that we have that out of the way, and then obviously this one right here, this is where you're going to see your audio, which is not really important, but this is where your audio levels will show, right? Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, there are two ways on how to import your footage to your folder. The first way being, you have to just come to files and then you come to import. If you hit that, it'll take you to a folder where you can browse and find the folder that you want and import your files. But that's not the way that I want to show you, right? I want to show you a simple way. As you can see here, I already have my footage, right, that I want to use for the step-by-step guide in terms of editing this video. So I'll show you guys a typical example of how I would do this. Because I already know, because I shot this footage, so I already know a bit of what I want in the beginning of the video. So I need this clip, this clip, this clip, and this clip right here, and maybe this clip also. And then what you want to do is you want to drag and drop your clip on Premiere Pro. Boom, and there you have it, right? Once you drag all of your clips, you want to, let's say, obviously I want to start with this clip right here. So when I double click on this clip right here, it should show up on the screen here. I am going to drag this clip and drop it right here. So how you do that, you just click. So if you also want the audio, say the person was talking on camera, so you just click on the clip right here and then you drag and drop right here, and what that will do is it will import to your scene the audio and the clip, right? And then let me just mute this, and then when you play you can actually see that, let's tone this down also, that the clip is playing. Now in my case, or in the case of this tutorial, I won't really use the audio, right? I don't really need the audio, so I'll keep it muted. So this right here is where all of your audio is going to come in, and this right here is where all of your clips are going to come in. Now you can identify that by this line right here. If you see this line right here, this line tells you that in the bottom is your audio, above is your clips, right? Now let's find a shot that we want, right? So maybe, so if I play back, so now we have our opening shot to about there. I basically want to chop this footage because I do not need everything and this audio. I just need certain specific moments of the audio, right? And how do I do that? Remember, we come here. Remember when we spoke about this razor tool right here? You want to click the razor tool, and then you want to play back. It's maybe somewhere there, and then you want to cut that and then play back again. So what this tool acts, it basically acts as a razor, right? Where it chops the clips that you don't really need. So there's a part where it interacts to the camera, so maybe somewhere about there. I really like that, and then I want to hit that again, right? So I want to come back to this pen tool. I need this clip and this clip. I do not need this clip, right? So I want to hit this clip and then I want to get rid of it. There's two ways you can do that. It's either you left click on your mouse and then you basically just cut it, right? Or let's say, also the other thing, let's say you didn't want to remove this clip, you can just come to edit and then say undo, and then it should bring back the clip. And then the other way is just, you can just hit this and just hit delete, right? And then remember, if you deleted it by mistake and you need it back, you just come to edit and then undo. And then, but because we don't need it, so we will delete that clip, right? Hit the clip and then you just drag it to all the way here, boom, and then you have it. So now you have two clips, right? So maybe I actually want to cut this clip a bit shorter, so I want it to be a bit shorter, so maybe to somewhere, I like the part to somewhere about there, and then I want to basically instead of, also you want to hit that, let's make it simple actually, hit that, and then you want to pen tool and then delete and then undo. The other way of doing this is you can actually just float right here at the end of your clips. You should get this arrow right here and you just click and drag. That's the other way of cropping or deleting a clip that you don't want. And then remember, use the pen tool and then you click this and then you drag it to somewhere about there, right? And then boom. And then so what I want to do, right, is I want to slow-mo this footage, right? So I want to right click, you come to speed duration. This is how you can do your slow motion, guys. And then you come to speed, maybe give it a 50, because I shot this footage in 120. I'll do a 50, and then you just wanna optical flow, you wanna hit OK. So when you play back, should give you a nice slow motion. So I want to do that for the second clip as well, right? So I want to right click, speed duration, then you want to give it a 50, optical flow, just to make the slow motion smoother and better. And then so when you play back, boom, you get that. So it's like boom, boom, maybe somewhere about there. You want to come to the razor and then you want to cut that, and then you just want to play it and see if there's any other shot that you like. So boom, right there, I really like that because I like the part where it interacts with the camera. Now I want to delete all of this. I just need it from here, right, to that way. So I want to come here, just come to the bottom, you see this arrow, just click and hold and drag all the way, boom, like that. That's the other way where you can crop a clip. but to make things simple, come back, razor tool, click that, right click, clear, or you can just hit delete. And then remember, arrow here, click and drag to the end of the other clip, and then when you play back, boom, boom, and then maybe I actually want maybe to start it there. Razor tool, pen tool, right click, cut that, click, drag, right, to somewhere about there. And then when you want to play, I really like that. And then same thing to maybe somewhere about there, because we want to make this a really pacey edit, right, such as the video that you saw in the beginning. So you want to raise the tool again, click that, and then just play it, pen tool, to maybe, oh, I actually like the part where he's laughing, right? So I want to raise the tool, click, pen tool. You see, basically, literally throughout the entire video, these are the only click and drag. 89% of the time, these are the only two that you will be using. So let's just play back. Boom. Maybe somewhere but there, you wanna click and drag on top of that one. Let's just cut it also. Boom, boom. And then razor tool, cancel that. And then we wanna play back to see if there's any other thing, because I remember when I shot the video it moves. Okay, cool. You wanna, okay, obviously cool. We don't need the rest of this. You wanna either right click and cut, or we can just hit delete. And then now we find the second footage, right, which is this one right here. Let's use this. So you wanna remember click. So let's say you just only want the audio, right? You hold the audio. So this is the footage, this is the audio, right? So it literally tells you drag video only, drag audio only, right? So if you want the audio, you can just drag audio only, and then it should just import the audio only. But we don't need that, so we'll delete. And then if we just want the footage only, you just click and drag. It should drag the footage only without the audio. But in the case of the tutorial, if you want to drag everything, you just click on the screen and just drag, and then it should drop everything right about there. And then now when we play back, because what we're trying to do is, maybe let's say I don't need this one here, so I'm just going to right click and cut, and then click this and then drag back right here. So boom, and then so okay, actually as you can see there's a sound, so this is how we mute the sound. You just hit that and then you should mute the sound, or you can actually just drag this and bring it up, and then it should be mute because you just dragged it to this one right here. And remember, this one is mute. So maybe I really like that part right there. And then you wanna come back here, razor, hit cut, pen tool, right click and cut that, and then you want to click and drag this to about here. And then also you can do the same thing, just bring it down just to keep it clean. So remember, I want to make this a slow motion just so the video can look better, or the video can be similar to the video that you saw in the beginning, because the whole video is basically slow motion. So you want to hit right click, and then you want to come to speed duration, and then you want to hit 50 optical flow just to make the slow motion better. Hit OK, and then now when you play back, boom, which looks really fire. So you want to go 1, 2, maybe somewhere about there. Just click and drag this one to here. Then when you play back, boom, boom. It's pretty sick, but I think we can find something else, another shot that's dope. Maybe that one right there. I really like that. So you want to do the same thing, right click, click here. Or also the easier way of doing this is you can just hit here, come all the way to the beginning here. You should see this red arrow, and then you want to click and drag to the side, which should just basically crop or cut the video for you. And then you want to click and drag to the side over here. And then now when you play back, boom, boom, right? And then you want to cut that right there. I really like that. And then now what I want to do is, the shot that I want is a shot that is at the end, or maybe somewhere there. So you want to click, remember this red arrow, come all the way here, red arrow. Okay, wait, let's play back. Okay, cool, yeah, right there, red arrow. and then you want to find, so what I'm doing is I'm clicking and dragging, so scrolling to the part that I like, then I want to click and drag that to about here, and then click and drag again. And you see guys, like I said, we are literally just using two. We're using this one and this one only. These are the two tools that you will be using 89% of the time, if not 90% of the time. So now when we play back, boom, so that one feels a bit longer. So you wanna boom, 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 and then maybe somewhere there, I wanna just click this and drag it to about here, right? And then now when I play back, you go boom, 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 boom. Okay. Actually, matter of fact, I like the part where he's laughing, right? So we should just play back to that part, so to about here, and then you wanna see this. Remember, red arrow, click, drag to about here, or you can just simply razor tool, cut, right click, cut, and then come back to the pen tool, and then you want to drag it all the way to here, right? And then when you play back, boom, boom, looks better. I like that. So now I want to delete the rest of this, and then I want to transition to right click, cut, right? And then I want to transition to the other clip where he actually bumps into his friend, or a guy that he knows. And then same thing we want to do here. As you can see, this is where we can view whatever's happening. So I really like this. So the other thing I want to show you guys, something else that you can do, is these two things here, these markers. So this marker is mark in and this marker is mark out. So it's basically like cutting, right? So for an example, I just want to scroll to a part that I like, maybe somewhere there where I like where he meets his friend, and then I just want to create a marker, right? What that is going to do is going to cut everything out, and then it's going to bring it to about here. I actually don't like that, so I want to bring it to somewhere about here where he's already walking inside the venue with him, and then I want to use the marker. So what that will allow me to do is just when I drag this and bring it to the timeline, it literally just, it left everything out besides this part. So from here to here, right, mark in, mark out. So if you wanna, so mark in and then there's mark out, right? If you maybe don't need all of this, but in my case I do need it, so the mark out is there. So let's continue, right? So you play, boom, and then transitions to where he's already walking inside the venue with his friend. So I don't need actually this part. So same thing, I want to click. So also if you want to zoom, so what I want to do here now, I want to zoom in the footage so I can get a better view in terms of cutting. So I want to come all the way down here, I want to click this and drag it. So this is basically zooming me in. If I want to zoom out, I want to drag this the opposite direction to my left, and then if I drag it to my right, it zooms in, right? So leave it about there, and then razor tool, I want to cut that, right click and delete, right? And then pen tool, bring it to somewhere there, and then remember what I want to do is I want to make this footage slow motion, right? So right click, speed duration, give it 50, and then obviously optical flow. This is something that I do a lot. Trust me, if you do it, your slow motion would look way better. So now if I play back to maybe somewhere about there, boom, and then I want to drag this, or I want to crop this. So same thing, I can just boom, and I'm just right click. I'm just doing this because I want it to be a pacier edit. So give it like a pacier cut. So it goes one, boom, 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 to somewhere about there. And then that part, I really like that part right there. So if you come here, and then once you see this red arrow, click and drag to the left, boom, and then click and drag to the right there. And then now we get the shot where he's basically showing the camera to him. Goes boom, boom, and then I like that part right there. And then I just want to cut, so razor tool, cut that, and then I want it to go to a part where, because I already know the footage, I want to take it to a part where he actually faces the camera, somewhere there, right? And then obviously what I want to do is razor tool, cut, right click, and cut that, right? And then now if you play back, you know, we are here. Oh, there's actually a blur. I don't like that blur the lens did. So maybe somewhere there, right? So maybe somewhere there. So what we want to do is we want to boom, razor tool, cut that, and then right click and cut it. So I like playing around. So my whole thing is like, I like moments, man. So I like capturing where people are interacting, either talking or laughing. Those are my favorite moments. So if you play back, boom, 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 you see, looks really fire. Boom, boom. So maybe let's doom, doom, da, and then cut it. So we go boom, boom, and then maybe we can cut it up at there, because I already know the other shot that I want is a shot where they are actually facing towards the camera. So a different point of view would be the right way to put it. So I want to cut that, and then I obviously want to delete this. Remember, you can also just hit delete on your keyboard, and then it should delete the footage. And then when I come back here, there's this other view that I shot, right, where I basically went in front of them, and then I shot a shot where I was walking backwards. So same thing, you want to click and drag, drop it on your timeline, and then obviously what we want to do again is give it a slow motion. So click on the footage, right click, and then go to speed duration, give it 50, and then optical flow, and I hit OK, right? And then now when I play back, boom, it cuts to somewhere there. So I need a shot where they are actually looking to the camera, right? I don't need all of this. So what I want to do, razor tool, cut, right click, chop that out, and then let's see if we can find a shot that is really dope. Okay, maybe somewhere but there. Remember, you can also just come here, see this, once you see that red marker or the red arrow, click and drag to your left, right? And then you click that and you bring it back right here. So now when you play back, goes bam, different angle, boom, right? Which is pretty cool. Boom, boom, somewhere there, right? That's all that I need. And then what I want to do is I want to use the razor tool, and then same thing, I want to click, cut this, and then come back to the selection tool, right? I keep saying pen tool, but it's actually called the selection tool. You want to click that, and you want to right click, and then you want to cut that. Remember, if maybe you made a mistake and you feel like, damn, there's still a shot that I would have loved to see what happens in that footage, what you want to do is you want to come back here. If you made a mistake, come to edit, click on edit, and then say undo. It should bring back that whole shot, right? And then now when you play back, you can watch it and just see if there's any other moment that you would like to use, which in my case there is not. So I want to click that and then just hit delete on your keyboard. So now if you play back, this is what we have. Boom, 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 which is pretty cool. Look, in my case, I really like making my videos really pacey, so my cuts are really fast, but in the sake of the video, you know, we'll leave it like this. So it depends on what video you are working on, but these are just like the basics of cutting and editing, right? Okay, cool. So now I believe there should be one last shot that I need, right, for this video. And then when you hit that, the shot is right there. So literally, I actually like this part where this shot actually starts, because I already know that everything else is really not dope. So I'll just cut it from here. Remember, we can use this marker right here, and then we can just drag and drop to your timeline. So now when I play back, it goes boom, cuts in to inside. Ooh, I think I might have cut the shot a bit quicker, right? So what I want to do is I want to hit edit and undo that, and then maybe just watch the whole footage. Maybe I want to start it from here, right? Remember, mark in, mark out. So I want to hit mark in, and then I just want to drag that to my timeline, boom, and then down, as you can see. So maybe somewhere there, and then I don't need the rest of this. So I want it to start from here. So I want to remember the arrow, drag to about there, and then what I want to do is I want to right click firstly and then slow-mo the footage as we have been doing with all of the footage. And then obviously optical flow. Look, you don't, and also depending on the video that you are working on, you don't really have to slow-mo all of your footage. You can just leave them. It's your preference. In my sake, because I genuinely just like slow motion shots, which is why I constantly am putting slow motion a lot on my videos. So now I want to drag this to about here. So now when we play back, boom, 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 it's a really dope shot, which is she's greeting them. But how I shot it is that I made it in a POV of the camera, as if they are the ones that are looking at the girl. So, and then I do not need the rest of this. What I want to do is I want to hit the razor tool, and then I want to cut this, and I'll right click, delete. Right, remember, if you make a mistake, you hit edit, undo, and then also the other way of deleting, just hit the selection tool, select your footage, and then hit the delete key on your keyboard. And then when you play back, it goes boom, 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 which is pretty cool. And there you have it. Now look, the video that you saw in the beginning of this video is long, right? It's a whole insert of how the event was like, or moments from the event. But in the sake of this tutorial, and because I do not want this tutorial to be too long, I'll leave this video right here. I hope, remember, so I'll touch base before I leave it. Remember, preview screen, where you can preview your footage and find the parts that you like. This screen is where you can see what you are editing. This is your timeline, where you can drag and drop your footage that you want to edit. This is your audio. If you want the audio, you unmute. If you don't want the audio, you mute. This is the footage. If you don't want the footage, you click that. It will hide whatever footage is there. If you want to see the footage, you open the eye. And then this is where you drag and drop your clips. Look, you can drag and drop. The thing is with Premiere Pro, is so intuitive that you can either drag and drop here or drag and drop directly here, depending on the video that you're working on. Now we are at the end of the tutorial. I hope this tutorial was very helpful. Now, because you stayed till the end of the tutorial, I want to show you guys how to therefore export your footage from Premiere Pro, right? And then send it to your friend, or if you want to export it and then upload it to your YouTube channel. So what you want to do now is you want to come all the way, you want to click and drag this all the way till the end, right? And then you want to create, remember I told you about the in and out markers. You want to create an out marker. What that will do is, what that does is it creates a marker from the beginning till the end. So this shows you that this is what, so what this shows you is that this is what is going to be exported. So everything is going to be exported. Now, if you do not want to export this clip, you can just click and drag this marker right here. If you want it to be longer, but in the case of the tutorial, I just want it to end about here, right? So you drag the marker till the end, or the point where you want your footage to end, right? And then cool. Also, just one more thing, this, I'm sure at the beginning of the tutorial you guys saw me playing around with this. This is not really important. This, I do this just because, so if I want to bring the quality of the footage higher, you know, as you can see, the HD is a bit higher, but in my case I just wanted my PC to be faster, so I just kind of tone it down. But when I export, you can bring it higher, it really doesn't matter, or you can just leave it as it is. So now I want to export this footage, right? So how do you do that? How do you export your footage from Premiere Pro? So you want to come to File, you want to hit scroll all the way down, you want to come to File, you want to scroll all the way down to Export, and then you want to hit Media, right? And then what that should do is to load up another screen where you can export your footage, right? As you can see, this is your footage. So now here is, you just have to name your footage, right? Let's just say, I'll just say beginner tutorial, yeah? Beginner we'll just say beginner tutorial, and then here on location, right, when you hit this is where you will find the folder where you can save your folder. Now in my case, my PC has an additional drive, so this is where I normally save all of my videos. So I just want to hit OK there, and then here on presets you want to click that, and then you want to bring it to high quality 1080, right? This is where you choose. So say you were shooting your footage in 4K, you can choose 4K, you can choose 720, but in the case of this tutorial, let's just choose high quality 1080p, which is dope for YouTube, right? You can just hit export. Once you hit that, boom, it'll basically just start exporting your video. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how to edit and export your videos. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and hopefully you can use some of the stuff that you have learned for your own videos, or hopefully now you can have confidence to start shooting and editing your own videos, create a channel on YouTube and start uploading those vlogs, or start doing client work, whatever the case may be. Thank you for watching, and if this tutorial was helpful in any way, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Leave a like and a comment, subscribe to the channel.